Alright, so I'm going to be reviewing Miles Morales Spider-Man by Cody Ziegler. No brainer, this is the start of the Cody Ziegler run. This was sent to me by my friend Chris, who also sent me not only this, but the other two volumes. So I have volumes 1 through 3 of the Cody Ziegler Miles Morales run, which I've heard nothing but good things about. I don't really have a lot of Miles Morales in my collection, mostly because I didn't know where to start. There wasn't really a good jumping on point between the Bendis stuff that was carrying over from Ultimate, and then Solid and Ahmed, and then it stopped, and then it started with someone else. There were so many Miles books going on that it was really hard to find some footing. So thankfully, Chris was like, "Hey, check out Cody Ziegler's run," and I gotta be honest, I really like this. I really like this comic, and I'm really excited to read volumes 2 and 3. Hopefully, I get to read the future volumes too, because this was just something else. This is something special, and it's just nice to read good Spider-Man content. You know what I mean? It's just really good to read really good Spider-Man content. And actually, let's talk about this real quick. As we all know, as of this recording, the end of the Zeb Wells run is near. We are reaching the final act of the Zeb Wells run. We're gonna get a 10-issue stopgap with Joe Kelly calling the eight deaths of Spider-Man, and that's really just like I said. It's more of a stopgap than anything else regarding that storyline. That's it. And we don't know who's going to be writing Spider-Man after that. I think that's the whole Joe Kelly storyline is just so they can another writer, which it doesn't really matter who they're gonna get. Let's be real, because the Spider-Man editorial room is the worst villain for Spider-Man, and I think I'm gonna take a little page out of Comic Pop and say it best: is that they're just X-Menning Spider-Man until because they don't want Spider-Man to have anything major to play off of for future movies. Even though, yes, they like to play, nice with Sony and Marvel. You know, Marvel and Sony like to play nice, quote-unquote, film-wise. It's very obvious Marvel is still bitter about not having their Golden Boy under their control fully. And also, let's be also honest that, Quesada's sins have been over Spider-Man for so long. I don't think it's Zeb Wells' fault fully. I'm not going to be one of those people who say oh, it's all Zeb Wells' fault. If only he was gone, everything would be better. No, because let's be honest, the running thing of, and you can make this argument too with Batman comics, because recently they had that whole thing with her, Batman and Catwoman for some reason can't be together, even though we can have Superman with Lois forever. And thank God, I don't know why Quesada has had it up his ass. I'm going to go further to this tangent, and I swear I'll get to the review. I'll get to the review in a bit. I just have to get this shit off my chest. What was it with breaking up marriages? Were you just so unhappy with your own marriage that you just didn't like it? And I've heard rumors, and I can't confirm this, so don't, I'm not trying to tell tales out of school, but one of the reasons why Zeb Wells was so adamant of getting rid of, Mary Jane and kicking them off from each other, Peter and MJ, was because he was going through a very ugly divorce and he was taking it out on Peter. I can't confirm that. That's what I've heard. That is what I've heard. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because I actually like Zeb Wells. I've told this story before where I've met the guy. He's very nice. He was kind enough after the whole thing with Chasm, and I was cosplaying Ben Reilly at MegaCon. I was like, "Hey man, wouldn't it be funny if I pretended to throttle you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, that'd be he's like, "I was hoping you'd ask." So I don't know if he ever put it on social media, but there is a picture of me as in a Ben Reilly costume, throttling Zeb Wells, "You ruined my life! You ruined my life!" He thought it was funny, and I can never fault him for that. But will I still defend his writing on Spider-Man? No. And I also don't think it's... but at the same time, his run has not been good. It will not go down as a Dave Michelinie level Spider-Man storyline or Spider-Man run. It won't even go down as a Nick Spencer Spider-Man run, if I'm being honest. But also on the other end of that sword, I know Zeb Wells can be a good writer, and I don't know how much of this is his personal life leaking into the comic, or if it's editorial getting him by the balls and just not letting, and just destroying it and just basically manhandling him. Because the Miss Marvel thing, the Kamala Khan thing of her dying, I almost said him, oh my god, I need to get more sleep. The thing of her dying, that wasn't even his plan. Like, that was apparently Kevin Feige called Marvel Comics and said, hey, we want to make Khan a mutant, so can you do that in the comics? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. So that was, you can point at Feige for that for that unnecessary death and bringing her back as a mutant. That one I will, like, now that I know that, I'm like, man, I'm sorry I treated you so bad on that, Wells, but now we know that was corporate. And again, that just shows that I don't know how much of this is Wells' writing, how much he's hogtied by editorial for just being spiteful at the fact that that Sony has Peter Parker and allows them to do whatever in the main universe. I say in the main universe because we also have Jonathan Hickman writing Ultimate Spider-Man, and oh boy, I can't wait to read that. Anyway, I'm sorry for that opening ramble. Let's get into the actual comic, okay? Like I said, it is good to read not only like Spider-Man content again, but good Spider-Man content again. Cody Ziegler really has a great voice for Peter Parker. I was on Peter Parker so much I forgot to talk about I'm not talking about Peter, I'm talking about Miles. He has such a good voice for Miles, and actually the running thing of this comic is something I wish more comics would deal with. Trauma, stress, the deal of, dealing with all of that stress of being a superhero, especially a young superhero. Keep in mind also that in the comics, Miles has revealed his identity as Spider-Man to his parents, so they know he's Spider-Man and out protecting lives. But between everything that happened, like, the whole thing with the Maker, his own clone saga, everything, like, Miles has been going through it at the start of this run, and now it's starting to really get at him. And on top of that, there's a new villain who is attacking him called the Rabble. Let's talk about the Rabble real quick. The Rabble, her real name is Raneem, and Raneem is this tech whiz who has built a suit that has tapped into technology all across the city, and has found out that Miles is Spider-Man and is now attacking his family because in her head, because she's not mad at Spider-Man, she's mad at Miles. There's a difference because there was a raffle to go to this esteemed school that Miles is at, and Miles won the raffle and she didn't, so she's taking all of her anger out because she's like, why does it have to be a raffle with minorities? Like, why do we I am a brilliant tech whiz that I would give Tony Stark a run for her money. And when you see her technology, you're like, yeah, it backs up. But it does kind of play into that real thing of how certain minorities, especially in cities, are pushed aside for or forced to fight each other. And don't get it twisted. Raneem's logic of attacking Miles and not attacking the system itself and not fighting for the people is called out by Miles and Tiana, aka Starling, aka the granddaughter of the Vulture. And I gotta be honest, I really like Tiana. I really like Starling. I really dig her character. I like how she plays off of Miles. How it's almost like Black Cat and Spider-Man, but not toxic. I like that. I like the, it's almost like Cody Ziegler liked Peter and Felicia, but also was like, damn, they're really toxic, so I'm going to write a character and be like, what if we took the toxicity out of it? But also she has, ties to a villain. And being a big fan of the Vulture myself, and also, if you're wondering, well, how come, and I've seen this dumbass comment before, and I have to explain it, how come, Vulture's granddaughter's black? And I'm like, y'all know that she was actually introduced in Marvel Knight's Spider-Man, right? When she was a little kid. We saw her daughter, and we do know that Adrian Toomes did marry an African-American woman who, if I remember right, I could be wrong, if I remember right, she passed away, and Adrian's daughter, Tiana's mother, wants nothing to do with Adrian. And also, real quick, as much as I have problems with that Marvel Knights Spider-Man run, I gotta be honest, that Vulture costume, that black and red Vulture costume, was fire. That thing was just awesome. But yeah, so it was really cool that they that Ziggler. Well, it wasn't Ziggler. I think it was Saladin Ahmed who brought in Tiana. Really played with that thing of, because everyone forgot about Toombs' family after that. So it was really cool to see like the Toombs family come back in the Miles story. I thought everyone would just forget about that from the Marvel Knights story, from the Marvel Knights Spider-Man story. So it was really cool to bring that back. And Cody Ziegler really has a great voice for her. And I love how she's like, Miles, you are freaking out. And it's true. Like, Miles in this comic is going through. He is, to put it bluntly, he is going through it. He had just survived a clone saga. He's in here. We have him battling the Scorpion. Rabble is attacking his family every which way, and he's dealing with a lot mentally, and Peter's not there. Like, Peter is not there to help him, but you know who is there to help him? Misty motherfucking Knight. Yeah, I really like the dynamic between the two, where Misty takes Miles under her wing and wants to, like, train Miles and, like, take him on as a protege in order to keep him away from the Powers Act that's still going on in the comic. I think it got rid of in Gang War, if I'm not mistaken. I'll get to there when I get to there. But not in the main comic, because I'm just reading the tie-ins. I've got 2 tie-ins. The Miles Morales one, thank you again, Chris. And the Luke Cage one, written by Rodney Barnes. Again, Chris, thank you once again. I have no interest in reading the Amazing Spider-Man Gang War storyline. Fuck that. I'll read the tie-ins, because that's clear, because I've seen the main event storyline. It's garbage. So I'll just stick with the side quests. Thank you very much. Anyway, so this is a great comic talking about, you know, the importance of mental health, the division among minorities caused by major cities. It's just an all-around great story. There's great action, too. Like, there is some serious great fights in here. That opening fight between Scorpion and Miles, awesome. And it's even better because I know what happens next, because I have the comic that follows this volume, which is the Carnage event that involved him and Scorpion becoming friends at the end of the comic. Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't already, go check out Miles Morales by Cody Ziegler. It's great. I highly recommend it. If you're burnt on... if you are just burnt out on the Zeb Wells Spider-Man run, or just Amazing Spider-Man in general, because here's the thing, nothing is going to change on that book until we stop buying it. I know a lot of people like hate read the comic and be like, "Oh, Amazing Spider-Man's so garbage. No one should be reading it." Really? Because I looked last month, like 2 weeks ago, I saw the top 10 selling comics of that week. Amazing Spider-Man, for all the shit we talk about it, was at like number 6 in the top 10 most bought comics of that sale. I'm tongue-tied. Of that sales week. So the only way anything is going to change in the Peter Parker comics is if you just stop buying them. If you don't like, it comes down to, if you don't like it, don't fucking read it. And trust me, money talks. If you just keep buying it because you hate reading it, you're not winning, they are. Like, Marvel Comics is winning, and that tells them, oh, we can just keep doing this even if it pisses them off because they'll keep reading it. And they'll think you're dumb for it. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now, I'm sorry. But getting back to this, yeah, fuck yeah. I love this book, and I can't wait to read the next 2 volumes and the future of this comic line, because this is just awesome. Chris, thank you so much again for sending me this comic. Like I said, I've been meaning to have some Miles Morales in my collection. Boom, here we go. And this is a great way to have some. Anyway, so if you've been reading Cody Ziegler's Miles Morales run, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of it. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.